here representing, of course, Team Jorge Masvidal. A well-known Las Vegas-based boxing trainer who's worked with some of the biggest names in boxing and mixed martial arts, from heavyweight champions like Tyson Fury and Andy Ruiz to UFC champion Brandon Moreno. Jorge Capetillo representing Team Masvidal.
Un latino con nosotros, es un mano duro y fuerte con este hombre que trabaja durísimo, coño. Recíbanlo con amor, coño. Ahí, dale.
Coach Capetillo, Jorge's been putting in the work the last 4 months in Las Vegas to prepare for this fight. How hungry is this man to make the same kind of noise in a boxing ring that he's done for decades in MMA?
Oh, 100%. He's a man that day by day wants to improve, wants to develop, and he puts his heart, his passion, always putting all this ethic, all this passion to develop on the boxing so he can display and perform in a fashion way in the first.
And next to you, of course, a man known in MMA circles for a long time as the striking coach at the world-famous American Top Team Gym in South Florida. How about put together for And if we can get Coach Capetillo to translate once more for Coach Hernandez. You've worked with Jorge for a long time. What makes this man such a dangerous striker that crosses any combat barrier? Backyards, MMA, and boxing.
Primeramente, un saludo a la comunidad cubana nosotros representamos a la comunidad cubana de Patria y Vida y la voz del comunismo y no a la dictadura castrista. Cambiando de tema, hablando ya de la cosa del toque, Jorge es una persona que tiene, cuando entrena, tiene instintos de técnicas de buscar el knockout. Entonces, él siempre entrena, prepara acciones para poder utilizar golpes donde termina el oponente. Creo que ese es su mayor virtud. Jorge is a dangerous fighter. He's a man that always is looking to hurt his opponent. And when he sees blood, he's ready to kill.
Indeed, thank you so much to Team Masvidal. Of course, in the corner of Nate Diaz, his longtime boxing trainer, well known in Northern California boxing circles, working with many world title contenders. Put it together for Mr. Richard Perez. Coach Perez, Nate called you the real BMF. You've worked with him since he was a teenager walking into your gym. Can you speak about the evolution of Nate Diaz as a striker to the combat sports icon that he is today?
When I first met Nate, he was fun with everybody. He said, Richard, come on, I said, fuck all these guys, they're heavyweight. And I said, wow, this guy's tough. He would go out there and just throw down and beat him up. And I said, this guy's got a lot of skills there. I'm going to train him. So that's how I got started with him. He's a bad dude.
Coach Perez, what type of fight are you expecting as the coach of Nate Diaz against Jorge Masvidal? What type of fight are you expecting?
Jorge, I'll give him a C average. He doesn't really box. He's not in the backyard, boxing, and Nathan did. Nathan learned in the boxing. That's what I see.
Real words right there. Before we hear from the main eventers, I want to recognize the gentleman responsible for putting this great tour and fight together. He's the CEO of Fanmio, Mr. Solomon Engel. And now our main eventers. Known for his relentless pursuit of violence, representing proudly his native Miami, this man reached superstardom in 2019, becoming the consensus fighter of the year, scoring the fastest knockout in UFC history. And against Nate Diaz in November of 2019, capturing right there that BMF inaugural championship. He also is 1-0 in his own professional boxing career as he enters his second fight. Jorge Masvidal. Jorge, rivalries come in different packages, sizes, and attitudes and temperatures. How would you describe this rivalry that you're in the midst of with Nate Diaz?
You heard about that. Like I said before, I have a lot of respect for Nate for his doing his career. Very similar upbringing. But not doing shit when you're 17 cage or boxing or whatever it is. I'm only trying to do one thing. And that's any motherfucking, that's all I'm gonna be doing. Just put an end to this rivalry. Yes, sir. You got it, my boy.
Of course, across from him on June 1st will be a combat sports icon. All I have to say is the 209 of Stockton, California, and people know what you're talking about. Along with older brother Nick, they've developed a swagger and a style that is often imitated but never duplicated. A man who himself became a household name in combat sports circles and beyond with a pair of record-breaking pay-per-view events in 2016 against Conor McGregor, becoming the first man to defeat Conor when he tapped him out at UFC 196. He made his own foray into pro boxing last year, going 10 hard rounds with Jake Paul, and really has been a regular in boxing circles for years, sparring with so many world champions and Hall of Famers like the great Andre Ward. So Nate Diaz, we are here for part 2 of this rivalry. So when you look back at part 1, UFC 244, what are your memories, what are your recollections of what went down that night for the BMF belt? Do you still hold a competitive grudge at that fight being stopped because of the cut over your eye?
Nah, it's a different fight. From the blue fight, boxing match, and that was a great, and I never win.
Nate, we were in New York last night. It felt like a Nate Diaz crowd. Now you're in the backyard of Jorge Masvidal. How have you found Miami so far? Is Miami your type of town? That fight was stopped early 5 years ago, as we mentioned. What would have happened if that fight went on a couple of rounds?
But the truth of it, you say it stopped it early. In my opinion, I'm a medical professional. This is job, you know. It ain't my fucking job to call fights. It's my job to throw as much heat as I can until somebody sees it too much, you know. So, in my opinion, it's not early, hell not. But I'd like it to continue, hell yeah, because I'm fighting my bottom. And, I want that dog in front of me, not breathing after we have to beat it, you know? But no way shit to finish is stop early, you know? We still early, let it go.
Jorge, you're a two-time UFC title champion, you're the inaugural BMF champion. If you scored a second victory over a legend like Nate Diaz on June 1st, what would that mean to your career?
Definitely a lot, man. There's a lot of great shit in his career, and my favorite thing about him was that he's a warrior. He goes out there and fucking puts it all on every time. I don't think he's the best athlete. I think he's the best technical guy. But he's one of the biggest dogs that ever stepped in the cage. And especially the guys of honor to take somebody on like that, he's willing to put it on that incident. And I always say, get my hand raised to him first. Yes, sir.
Nate, Jorge had a lot of words this week about the negotiations and behind the scenes. He claims you turned down fighting here in Miami. Is there any truth to that?
I was down for wherever, but I said I'd rather fight in Cali, and they made it happen in Cali, so that's what happened.
Do you expect to have a home crowd advantage come June 1st?
I don't give a fuck about that. All I know is that my dude has been fighting a long time. I was ready to fight wherever, and he was the biggest opportunity in the game. And yeah.
When Jorge spoke this week, Nate, about your first meeting, he said what he proved was that he was the superior athlete and the meaner of the two two fighters. Do you have any response to that?
I agree. He was fun. I was fucked up.
Now, Jorge, Nate's visiting your hometown today. Not that long ago, you stopped by Stockton, California, right? Shout out to Lumberjacks. What did you make of Nate's home area?
Great place, pretty cool. That's some great food. People cool as fuck. Everybody was showing love. I was out there as well. I'm like the people, so we treated me well out there, man. I can't lie.
Let's talk about this fight. 10 rounds. Your second pro boxing match. What's the biggest challenge that you expect in boxing against Nate Diaz?
Well, I'm pretty known for going to some body ass knees, and I can't do it in boxing. And I'm also known for kicking pretty good, and I can't do it in boxing. So, that being said, I love to throw hands as well. I don't really see it as a challenge. I just see it more as, let's get to it, It's not a challenge, it's something that I love to do. I love to compete in combat.
Nate, over to you. Boxing can be a technical affair. It can certainly be a savage war at times. What type of fight are you expecting in this rematch against Jorge Masvidal?
I expect him to do what he's got to do. He's got a coach up there, and he's doing what he should be doing, and I'm doing the same thing. But I've been doing this the whole time, so we'll see how it goes.
When you go on a media tour like this, Nate, it gets sick of seeing the same face over and over again, whether it's mine or anybody, but how's it been going with Jorge? Has anything he said gotten under your skin? Nothing, Nick?
Brian.
Jorge, when we mentioned that stoppage, the scar tissue over the eye, do you expect that to be something you're shooting for in this rematch? Cutting Nate, I've heard something about an orbital bone in your prediction of the Bills.
If it's up to me now, I don't want no cuts because that means another man makes a decision. I want to take the judges out of it, I want to take the fucking referee out of it, the doctors out of it, and I want to leave it up to these bad boys right here to get it done. They can't really kill their slice now, They just bad and you see, this is my way to come from, man. The only one thing, they're not going to fucking boxing match in the 100 that's doing it. Fucking war,
Hi, Jorge Hero from the Miami.
Sir. Let's go.
Jorge Hero. Jorge Hero from the Miami Herald. Jorge Hero from the Miami Herald. First for Nate. One time, mano. Nate, you fought Jay Paul. Did you expect Jorge be more difficult than Jay Paul?
I expect him to come.
And Jorge, you have two great minds by your side, Jorge Capetillo and Paulino. What it means to have these two masters striking with you in your corner? ¿Qué significa para ti tener dos monstruos del striking como Capetillo y Paulino?
Wow. Cada uno más hay experiencia. Capetillo tiene 80 años de experiencia en sentidos. Su abuelo, todos sus familias de boxeo, y va a seguir, sus hijos son todos entrenadores competidores, compañeros que han estado en la carrera entera, 16 años, y nadie me conoce mejor que él, son entre los dos, hacen el buen plan para yo ganar a alguien. No translation, we're ready to kill somebody. Let's say we're ready to put it on the line, get it right.
This is for Nate. Nate, you just did 10 rounds of boxing a couple months ago. Do you think that gives you more experience in the boxing ring against Jorge? You just did 10 rounds of boxing a couple months ago. You think that experience gives you more experience against Jorge?
I think the experience is it comes, so I'm ready for what he's got. I help you a lot.
Sorry, you saw Nate's fight in boxing. Jorge, you saw Nate's boxing match. What do you think?
Speak up, man. He's a big thing, but I can't hear you. Speak up.
You saw Nate's boxing match. what do you think of this boxing record and how do you think of the boxing stage after the finish?
I can't even make them see what this is too rowdy.
He said, how did you think Nate's boxing skills matched up with Jake Paul in the front lesson?
Like I said, I didn't feel that from athlete to athlete, Nate was in the greatest shape of his life, in the best shape of his life. I don't blame him, like I said, I wouldn't take Jake too seriously years and think that Nate is not my mind swallowing bananas and shit like that, so I don't really know, you know. I don't want to judge him off that performance because I'm judging him off his whole fucking career aside from that boxing game, so I'm ready to throw him.
Let's go!
Andrew with Locked and Loaded. Nate, I got one question for you. Who's the dopest?
You already know what the fuck this is.
How do you see this fight going with Masvidal?
June 1st, we're gonna come see what's happening.
All right, fellas, let's wrap it up with this. Come June 1st, prediction time. Jorge, how does this fight end?
Violence, man. Remember, violence. I gotta give my people what they want, bro. They don't want no hungry, they don't want no point fighting shit. They all the stuff that they do, so they just want violence. And that's all I'm here to get, bro. They go throughout my career, delivering violence. They kind of style with a lot of swag and a lot of violence, man.
Same question goes over to you. How does this fight end?
Hey, the last fight was continued, and this was for land. This was in my city, nigga, West Side. Fuck out, what's up?
Nate Diaz, your birthday was yesterday. Did you do this presentation?
Yeah, I came here. Ready with that. West Side, motherfucker.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we can face off in front here.